Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Kara Barnes. She is the founder and CEO of Backstage Operations, a fractional CEO agencies. Welcome to the show, Kara.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
You are welcome to the show, Kara. You are welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll be talking about how founders, how business people can outsource their backstage operations and prioritize their business growth. So my first question to you, Kara, is that you are the founder of a fractional CEO agencies. Nowadays, this whole fractional word is gaining a lot of currency. What should we make out of this word fractional? Because too many fractional things happening. Where does that leave the business owner actually to do what? I want to understand in that backdrop. You are the agency owner. I just want to understand that for the audience a bit, and then we'll come to exactly how business owners can free their time from backstage operations and prioritize on business growth.
Yeah, excellent question. Thank you for it. Yes, I think you're right. Fractional is kind of a trendy in the spotlight thing right now. And I think a lot of people don't know where that fits. Does that apply to my business? When is the right time for something like that? I think for me, and sort of starting with the basics, fractional really is a fancy word for part-time. It implies that person has more of an executive skill set, more of a leadership skill set. And the way I approach fractional leadership in small businesses is that it's a huge opportunity for small business owners to have a higher level thinking partner in their business than they would have before, right? So a lot of folks will come to me and they think that they need to be at a certain level of business to bring on a full-time operations person, a full-time second command or an integrator. And I'm able to explain to them that by doing fractional, we can design a role with a scope that really fits what you need today and a budget that you actually have right now. So I think it really helps people broaden the vision that they have for their business before they've made it, right? Like it's an excellent stepping stone to getting to that point where you're ready to really start to build your executive team.
Right. Wonderfully explained. Now, for a lot of people, they know about Chief Marketing Officer, fractional CMO, fractional COO. That helps them understand, that, okay, we are getting some degree of expertise from outside. What about backstage operations? Help us understand this part of things that can be outsourced so that, people can actually understand how much these backstage operations can actually, take away their time and not leave them any time to focus on the things, on the vision, on the growth part of their company. Help us a bit so that, small businesses can also think of outsourcing this part of their operations.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the way we approach it is that when we come into your business, we are first and foremost a strategic partner. So we are having honest conversations with you about what resources are available and who are the right people for this project, and really crystallizing the vision to make sure that that the business is headed in a sensible direction so that you're not having to guess at that yourself. I think I see a lot of visionaries with, they might, one day they have a really clear picture of where they're going. And then they go to a conference and they're going, oh crap, maybe I need to be doing a podcast, or I need to be doing this, or I need to be doing that. And they don't have anyone to filter that idea through. So then they end up running in this direction for a little while, and they hear, new advice, and then they run in that direction for a while. So first and foremost, we become that strategic partner in your business to run ideas through and decide, are we pivoting the business, or is this not the right time? Or how do we strategically approach our time and energy, what we're investing in the business? The second piece is that it's essentially outsourcing your team management, a lot of the heavy lifting around personnel. So the people on my team are responsible for the small teams in these businesses in a way that small business owner has often never experienced. And to your point, they often don't think that they can delegate that, right? They sort of feel like, as long as I'm the business owner, everybody reports to me, I hold it all. by designing this fractional leadership role, which we'll often call integrator for folks who are familiar with EOS and traction, by having that second command who can run your whole team, just like you said, you're able to step away and go write your next book or launch your podcast or whatever those thought leadership projects are that have been on the shelf, because you're the one project managing. We take all that project management work off of your plate. And that's when I talk about an operations leader, the strategic partnership and the management of your team are the two biggest things that we're taking off the business owner's plate, so they can go play effectively and do the fun parts of their business.
Right, Kara. Now, yours is a fractional CEO agency.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk of backstage operations, it sounds like admin work. Now, help us understand, how will a CEO fit into the admin work part of it? Will he be able to justify his expertise, especially in small business settings where they actually have a bit of admin work, but no CEO role as such? So help us understand, does the small business have to be of a particular size? Then only the CEO will make sense in that business.
It's an excellent question. So the smallest business that I would bring a fractional COO into would be $500,000, right? Your business has to have some good things going. You have to have some good people on you, and maybe it's a matter of sort of bringing them together and leveraging their talent. But really, this sort of leadership role in your business won't make sense until you have a little bit of a foundation for your business and a viable product, right? At that point, once you're noticing, so I'll tell you, oftentimes when I talk to folks, I'll say, do you have, who do you have supporting you? Who's on your team? And they'll say, oh, I don't have a team. And I go, oh, well, do you have a part-time graphic designer? Do you have a part-time bookkeeper? And they're going, oh yeah, I do have those 10 people that I've hired out reporting to me and helping me with projects, but they're all in their own little world, right? So I think for folks who are kind of asking this question of when is the right time, and is this the kind of thing that's for me? I think it's two parts. One, you have to have the mental readiness to accept help and to start delegation. You have to sort of be craving delegation and the ability to pass things off so you can go play, like I said, right? If you're still holding on to all the details, like you need to control the way that every last thing is done, you're not quite ready to have somebody come into your business and support you this way. The second thing is what I mentioned about the team. So people who are noticing, I feel, where they feel like they're managing all the projects and details and they have, good things going and maybe good people supporting them, but they still feel like they're spending all their time being a bottleneck to a bunch of people that they've hired who can't go do their jobs effectively, or they can't support them and manage them effectively. Maybe they can't hold them accountable because it takes a lot of time to build relationships and have clear expectations and set them up. So if you're feeling like all I do is manage this team of people helping me, and I'm not doing the fun parts, I'm being bogged down by that, and I'm oftentimes not good at it. Sometimes business leaders they're great leaders, they're excellent leaders, and not good managers. Those are totally different, right? It's different skill sets. So if that's you and you're burning out on the management and wishing that you could do more of the leadership, that's a really good time to be looking into fractional support of some kind.
Right, Tara. Now let's look at the ROI part of it. If a CEO comes in and they already have some staff within their company or their small business, how does it work? On the same cost, they may be able to have a couple of employees, whereas the CEO will be there, but will in a fractional role. How does that work? How do you explain to business owners, small business owners, this return on investment part?
Yeah, it's $1 million question. I appreciate you asking. So a couple different things come to mind. The first is that by getting clear on your goals and your direction, and then developing a strong management system where the people on your team are really putting energy towards the most important things, from day to day, where time and energy is being used strategically and sensibly. That's the first thing. If you're prioritizing effectively, it doesn't matter if you get things done all day long if they're not the right things, if they're not the things that hit the bottom dollar, if they're not the things that land the big clients, right? So that's the first thing, is that taking your business through an operational lens or operationalizing, systematizing some of those things is going to force that prioritization that's going to allow you to be much more effective in how you spend your time and energy, and that will hit your bottom dollar pretty quick. The second thing is that by building structures and systems for your team to function within. So for example, one of the things we'll do is we'll implement Asana, or we'll come in and bring in a task management tool and maybe a CRM and get the right software in place so that people on your team don't have to be project managing and figuring out what's needed of them. They can show up and they can jump right in, and you get much more out of the people that are working for you. And that's one of the biggest things that I hear is people feel like, I've got this great virtual assistant, or I've got this great marketing person who's, they're so smart, but I just don't feel like I am actually utilizing all their skills. I feel like, I'm trying to come up with projects for them instead of giving them the most important things. So getting the most out of the money that you're already spending and feeling like, wow, this person was able to go, from doing random projects here and there to really driving the most important thing for the business right now. That's a big one. It's just getting so much more out of your people when you have good structures to support them and keep them around. It retains them when they're confident in what they're doing and they know what's expected of them and they can own it. You're going to retain talent and have a lot less turnover.
Right, Kara. So how does it work on the ground? How does someone get started? What is the process in getting a CEO from your company?
Yeah, so we start with our Ops Kickstart series, which is essentially our diagnosis, right? We look at everything in your business, what's currently working, where do you want to go? What are all the books and podcasts or services that are on the proverbial shelf, things you haven't been able to tackle yet. We get clear on all of that and get clear on some of the timelines. How quickly do you want to grow? I really want to get a sense of the big abstract vision that oftentimes people haven't ever even shared with anyone or articulated, right? So getting clear on that is the very first piece. We can't set the team up for success unless we can tell them confidently where we're going. And then once we do some of that work, the deliverable for that is a map to say, here's exactly where we're going to go in the next year. It's broken down by quarter and priority. We get a sense of, what are the resources and how do we make sure that we don't break the bank while we're also trying to grow your business and make sure that everything is balanced as we go. And then once we have some clarity on that, we'll take people through a program to really do some of that foundational operationalizing work. I'm a big believer that fractional COOs should not necessarily just jump into managing your team and just jump into trying to run the show. I think there's a lot of foundational work that's going to create the structure to get the most out of that person too, right? My goal is always to make sure that we don't feel like another person coming on the team that you have to manage. So the next step working with us is that we come in and do some transformative work with your systems and your software and your team to make sure that there's a strong infrastructure for what we're trying to come in and drive. And then from there, it's more of what people might know from fractional leadership. So we come in, we're responsible for hitting, maybe 7 to 10 quarterly initiatives. We own those, we're responsible for those, and we reach out to the team and make sure that things are happening. So that's the experience of working with us. And you can see, in my success, and I'll just brag for a minute that the clients that I've worked with that have loved working with us have gone from feeling like they are exhausted by all the little details in their business and they always feel behind, to being able to actually step away from work for an entire week and come back and feel like things just happened in the background while they were gone, right? Or being able to go, and I work with a lot of professional speakers. So being able to go and do a speaking event one day and not being at their email all day, but not coming back that night to, 75 emails that have to be answered immediately. So that freedom, when we talk about ROI, that freedom is priceless. That feeling of peace that, okay, someone on my team has got my back and I can relax a little bit. It's a really powerful feeling. So that's often the experience people have working with us and going through that process.
Right. From business owner's ROI to your ROI, Kara, how do you have a specific time limit to the engagement, that this is the minimum engagement that has to be, then only it will make sense for your company? How does that work? Or is it like each month as it goes by?
Yeah, great question. So our intro series is a 2-week intensive, and it gives you a sense of how we work, how we function. I'll introduce, as I work with you in that series, I'm often looking for personality and preferences as well. Because having the agency model, I'm always looking to find somebody who can come work in your business that you're going to vibe with really well, that there's going to be good chemistry, somebody who thinks the same way about you in business. So during that 2 weeks, you're getting to know us and our methodology and our approach to it. And then I'm also going to be introducing you to members of my team to figure out who might that right person be to come into your business. Beyond that, if you decide that you do want to go into fractional leadership with us and your business is ready for that, I mean, that's one of the things we're looking for. We will help you make that decision. Is this a sensible time? For the folks that it is, and we're saying, yep, if you want to grow this quick, we got to bring in some real leadership here. For those folks, I ask for a 6-month commitment, because there's so much that we do to get people into a rhythm. It's a momentum thing, right? And like the team has to feel like what it feels like to have accountability sort of day in, day out, and to feel like from start to finish, we know how to start a project and finish it and feel really good about the direction and the trajectory. So I ask for 6 months, and I always want to make sure, like, working in small business, entrepreneurship needs to be nimble, right? So I am someone who, 6 months is on the contract, and I do my best to make sure that we are meeting your business where you're at even from day to day, because I know things shift quickly. You get a huge contract or you lose a big client and different things happen. And so we work with you to make sure it suits your business, and we're not gonna tank you if you end up not quite being ready for that. We've had that situation before. So
Right. And is it only done online or offline? How does that work? Is it only located it has to be in a particular location, or it can be done globally?
good question. So for the most part, we are remote. I'm US based, and my team at this point, everyone on my consulting team is based in the US. We've had a couple of people who want someone local, and so I've been able to tap into my network and help find them someone who is closer by. But for the most part, this is remote work, because especially with fractional, if you're working with someone, potentially less than 10 hours a week, that time is going to often be spaced out with, maybe meetings here on Tuesday morning and then a meeting here or there. In some instances, we'll say, you get access to this leader for all day Monday and all day Tuesday, or, we'll have arrangements like that. But yeah, for the most part, it is a more remote online business-based resource, I think.
Right. One more thing I wanted to understand is that you want to free business owners from their operations, backstage operations, and you seem to be very passionate about operations. You have a certified director of operations. You are a certified director of operations. Tell us about your passion for operations and getting into this agency line.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I'll say I'm really passionate about mentorship. So I decided to do the agency model because I have learned so much being in businesses. I've helped grow a couple of businesses from like $500,000 to like 1.2 or so. And that experience, like that timeline of growth in a small business is so hard, and it really requires that you start to embrace and understand operations. So I've been in businesses and had that experience of sort of getting the team on board and helping people understand, what is operations? What's that going to look like? It feels very abstract to people, So I think I am now passionate about helping other operations leaders do that effectively and be able, and I love mentoring my team of consultants. I have incredible people that work for me. And for us to be able to get together and be able to brainstorm and say, this business owner is dealing with this problem. What's the best system that we can build to support them? Or what's the best resource that we pull in here? I love helping to knowledge share. So that's why I started the agency. I'll say, in terms of helping clients, oh my gosh, I love what I do. And the biggest success for me, like I said, has been able to see people take a real break and learn how to be able to unplug from their business. Because when that happens, it's not just a matter of, oh, good, you've got freedom now. Like that's huge. And for a lot of people, that's the victory. That's the win. They've made it. If they can step away from their business and keep money coming in, that's a huge deal. But also when you unplug, you're able to come back into your business and bring fresh energy and fresh ideas and a better version of yourself because you're not exhausted all the time, right? So all of the additional benefits of helping business owners get to a healthier place, and I'll use the beat to death, like the work-life balance, right? Like helping people really understand you don't have to be in hustle mode all the time. You don't have to be exhausted by your business. And I'll say part of what I do for people that I'm more and more passionate about is helping them get clear on the thought leadership piece, right? So if my job is to get you out of the weeds and we're trying to get you up out of the details, where are you going? If we're freeing your time up, how do we make sure you don't just fill your time with more busy work? How do we make sure you fill your time with those thought leadership projects that are going to have the impact you want to have, and they're going to light you up and keep you excited about your business. And it's going to feed the back end of your business that we've created. So getting to see people go through that transformation because of something that sounds as not sexy as operations. I mean, it's a very powerful thing to lean into if you're ready to build your business and enjoy your business more.
Wonderful, wonderful. You love your work, and a lot of people who would love to outsource their backstage operations. What is the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me there, Kara Barnes, or go to our website, backstageopsops.com, and you can schedule a call with me right from our website there. And I'm always happy to help people with that first question that you asked, sort of this like, when's the right time? I think that readiness is the biggest question. I don't know if my business really needs that or if I'm there. So always happy to brainstorm with people to kind of think through all the factors related to that question and be a resource for you. So.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.